Hi guys, welcome to another vlog. Today I just want to talk to you about something which has been playing on my mind for a little while, and I guess it's more important now that we sort of care more about the environment, and we're desperately trying to reverse some of the ill things we've done to the environment. And that subject is about paying conservationists and people who work with animals sort of a fair wage, and also we should get rid of the shame about making conservation profitable. So just hear me out, because I know a lot of organisations involved in conservation are charities, and they absolutely should be accountable, especially when people are giving them donations or they're receiving government money. But also I see a lot of charities, when they offer decent salaries to some staff, generally a lot of people frown upon that, and sort of there's an assumption that, oh, they should do it for much less if they care about the birds or if they care about the whales and so on. And I think that's wrong, because thankfully there are a lot of people which want to save the planet on goodwill, but a lot of these people, you know, sort of do it at the expense of their own health and at the expense of their own wealth. So I think conservation as a whole should be allowed to be profitable, as should green organisations. And this is especially important when you consider that many people going into environmental careers or conservation are often required to have lots of experience. Often this experience is unpaid, and in addition to that, many jobs require degrees or higher degrees within the sector. So I guess when people finally get their career going, careers they can't get without these degrees, they will accumulate lots of debt, and then their actual salary might not make it worthwhile. So again, we might lose passionate people, and these people might work for other sectors, and quite frankly they might be sectors that have a negative impact on the environment rather than sectors which are helping the environment. And saving the planet really requires efforts from everyone, especially people who are passionate about it. And if you think a lot of the animal jobs, whether it be vet nurses, whether it be zookeepers, and you know, this debates whether you agree with keeping animals captive or not, but I guess that's another rant further down the line. But there's no denying that these people are so passionate about their animals, yet many of them again struggle to make a decent living, and again that results in people leaving the sector or people resenting working in the sector. And I think this really must change. And I've mentioned that many of these organisations are charities, and perhaps that's part of the problem, because they're doing it for a charitable cause, so there's that natural assumption that people shouldn't be profiting from it. So how about we make the private sector do more to conserve the natural world, to promote green causes, to promote the environment, to promote species loss. By promoting species loss, obviously I don't mean promoting the loss of species, but raising awareness about the loss of species and coming up with innovative solutions to address these losses. There seems to be a problem with this though, and that problem is when any private organisations come up with potential solutions to environmental problems, they often get accused of cashing in or taking advantage of a bad situation, or jumping on the bandwagon. And they might be, but is there anything actually wrong with that? The more organisations that help green causes, the better, surely. And also, perhaps it's human psychology, but when the majority of companies do bad things to the environment and their chief executives are getting paid more, and the products they sell are having a negative effect on ecosystems and on people and on animals, including us, which live within ecosystems, we sort of turn a blind eye, and that's okay. So it's okay for the chief executive of an oil company to make massive amounts of money in their salary, but not one who's in charge of a conservation charity. And I really think that needs addressing, and we sort of need the private sector to really drive forward change. And I guess we need governments to recognise that. So there could be taxation for products which are harming the environment. There could be tax rebates or reductions for organisations that are promoting a green economy. I'm really encouraging people to get involved, to pursue their passion, but to do it with a fair wage, especially when a green planet is going to benefit the economy as a whole and create lots more jobs. So Laura's just going to tell a story now, because she's worked within the data section of a university, so she can add a bit more facts onto what I've been saying.
Hi guys. I used to work in the planning and analytics office of a university, and one of the projects that I worked on, or one of the departments that I worked very closely with, was the careers department, and I had to do a project of data analysis trying to find out which kind of subject areas in the university, so that could be everything from maths to science to English to healthcare, dentistry, whatever that university's offering at the kind of bachelor's university level, undergraduate. Like, are they getting into professional work, highly skilled work, or moving on to postgraduate degrees, highly skilled degrees kind of thing, post their degree? And every time I did work on this, one of the sectors that were always on the list of basically students don't end up in work related to their degree. So the environmental sector was actually one of the ones where people don't really get jobs, or they do go into highly skilled work, but it's not related to their degree. And I think this has a lot to do with, because I'm one of these people, I think it's got a lot to do with pay's rubbish a lot of the time. And once you've spent three years at a degree, or maybe you go on to do a master's and you go on to do a PhD, you spent years and years and years getting all of this education under your belt, but you often required a certain amount of experience as well. So I think it really puts a lot of people off from continuing on, because it's a lot of extra work. Like, you need to be able to prove that you know your stuff in conservation and animal care, and it's a highly skilled position because people can't just walk in and do it. You've got to do courses to prove that you're skilled enough to work with these animals or these habitats, and you can't just walk into it like a retail job, for example. So this is where I think we're going wrong, and I agree with Stu completely that the environmental sector, who are doing very, very good work, conservationists, animal scientists, biologists, ecologists, naturalists, we don't get paid enough, and we're doing really, really good work. So that's my mini rant over, but just wanted to chip in with my little bit of personal experience in this kind of area.
So again, we sort of know the reason for this low pay. It's because in other sectors which are destroying the planet, there's lots of money to be made. There's lots of products to be sold. There's lots of things we desire and demand. So we need to give nature a price. We need to make nature economically viable. We need to start realising that saving the planet will help every other sector. Take the pandemic, for example, and I did a rant about that last week. But look how much we've cost, or look how much that's cost us for not protecting the environment. Billions and billions and billions. So if organisations are to make a profit out of saving the planet, which I really think they should be encouraged to do, they still need to be accountable. So they still need to make sure, or we as society need to make sure that their products are doing what they're saying, and they're not just greenwashing products or services. So absolutely they need to be accountable and true to themselves. But I think it's something that we really should do, is support, businesses, whether charities, whether private organisations, that are trying to raise awareness, that are trying to make differences which ultimately will benefit us all. So that's the end of my mini Ramblers rant, but just to let me know what you guys think, especially if you're in the early stages of your career in conservation or animal science or ecology. What barriers have you found? Are there financial barriers? Do you agree that there should be more investment in the sector? There should be a fairer wage, there should be more support. Do you have any case studies where you have been supported, where you've received funding? It's just good for us all to know and share, because ultimately we need to save the planet. We're part of the planet. If we don't, I say save the planet's going to carry on turning whether we're here or not. But if we don't, forget the economy, forget other sectors, they're not really going to exist and thrive if we're in an ecological disaster or a climate disaster.